Everybody, it's Chav and Nobody Else's Auto. 7 o'clock Sunday evening, back in my office again for live chat. As always, thanks for coming back. We are live. We'll give everybody a few seconds to get their notifications. Looks like Facebook just did come up with us. We've got Rusty Nails is here. Bill's back with us again. And as always, Bill, tell everybody to hit the like button. Bill's always got my back on that, making sure everybody's paying attention and hitting the like button. So I always appreciate that. Pete made it. As always, we are on two formats tonight. I've got YouTube and Facebook up. As you see me glancing back and forth at comments, that's what I'm doing. So as we get into tonight, just because you don't see a comment means it may is probably on the other format. So Joe's on with us on Facebook. So Facebook is doing something tonight. That's good. Lee from New York's back. So glad you guys all took some time out of your evening to hang out with us again as we move forward with this little endeavor for the 103rd time, as bonkers as that sounds. To me, it's super crazy. So, but I'm glad you guys are here making it happen. Kevin's on YouTube. Carol just jumped, or Brian on Facebook. Glad you're here. So Norma's on with us. Lori's on. Great group getting on with us already right out of the gate. As always, trolls, you guys do a great job of making sure they're not welcome. I'm not going to address them. Because that's what they want, but you guys do a great job of running them off, and I do appreciate your support and your help on that. Comments, double check your comments. If autocorrect changes something before you hit send and I can't make it out, I will skip it and just keep moving. That's all I can do. Scott's on Facebook, bunch of stuff popping up on YouTube. Lots of comments on the Sinclair sign already. David W is here. Chris is on. Joe just switched over to YouTube from Facebook. So Steel Ponies, Jeff Taylor's here. Alan NC's on. So please keep an eye on your comments. If I can't make them out, I will skip over it and keep moving on to the next one. So if you sent something through and I didn't address it, please double check it, correct it, and resend it. As always, if you are on Facebook, on the Nobody's Show page on Facebook, I cannot see those comments. This is a shared video from the Nobody Else's Auto page here on Facebook. If you want to comment, participate in the raffle, participate in trivia, participate in the auctions, you will need to be either on the Nobody Else's Auto page on Facebook or the Nobody Show channel on YouTube. Those are the only two sets of comments I can see. They're rolling in pretty steady. I better get to a couple of them. Gary on Facebook's on with us. Kenny and Glenn and James all on YouTube as well. Lots of familiar faces back as always. So James says hit the like button as well, just like Bill. Kim's on with us. Ken got another Ken with us on Facebook too. So hopefully we get a good group on Facebook tonight. Facebook's been really, really wonky lately with their feed issues, with what they're showing to people, things like that. So hopefully it hangs in there and cooperates. So see, Kevin L. John's on. Pete had the same Heather Thomas poster that we've got behind us up here on the wall. So Tony, see, I hope I don't. Big Job's on. Gary's here, getting ready for the Wichita swap meet. Absolutely. So anyway, that's what the typical stuff I wanted to throw out there. So make sure if you're on the Nobody Show page on Facebook, you're on one of the other ones if you want to comment. Cement Surfer's back with us tonight. Lots of comments on the Sinclair lease sign right out of the gate tonight. This is a porcelain sign. These were actually on oil leases. Bill wants to get going. Bill's ready to rock and roll tonight. So there you go, guys. Bill's already like, let's get that thing going. We're 4 minutes in, and Bill already wants the Hudson badge. Tim's on with us. Kenny's here. Likes the sign as well. So Steel Pony says, good luck, everybody, on the pedal car. Kim says, good luck, everybody, tonight. Yep. But anyway, Mike's on with us on Facebook. Mike, my loader guy, the guy that Mike, the genius that has the loader running again, is with us on Facebook. He just got out of Facebook jail, so I don't know what Mike did, but I bet it was pretty funny, whatever it was. So. But James, why don't you just raffle off the Heather poster? Then I wouldn't have one, so that wouldn't be good. Let's see. But anyway, these were actually on oil leases, and these were, you can't find them today. There was no way they could put them up today, but that's why it has this information on here. And these used to be really common. But obviously, just like anything, a rising tide raises all ships. that's what's happened to lease signs. Joy's with us on Facebook. Number one made it tonight. But a lot of these, this is a fairly common size for these lease signs. And Jason made her tonight. So these basically just identified the lease, the oil lease, whoever it was for. This one is 26 by 10, 26 inches by 10 inches, which is a fairly common size. And like I said, they've become pretty collectible, but the ones that are tougher to find are the ones with the company logo. It's not uncommon to see them with just the lettering. It may say Phillips, Bob Jones, Lease 10 or something like that. But the ones with the logos on them are great, and those are the ones I like to try to get. Mike's on with us tonight. Hope I'm not missing anybody. I know there's a lot of people on here chatting with each other, which is great. I just hope I don't miss anybody's specific comments. So I'm trying to keep an eye on those as well. But I bought a bunch of these actually at the Springfield swap meet here, 2 or 3 years ago. Old School's on with us. So I bought like 6 or 8 Sinclairs. This one was one of the signs that was actually in my buddy's bar that I told you about. We've got like 30 signs you guys haven't even seen yet out of there. So that's where this one was at. And there was 2 different styles of logo. We'll get the other one worked in. But these are great pieces. Jeff's on, Kenny's on. So that's kind of what that's what those are. And like I said, I'm not huge on lease signs other than the ones with the logos on them, because those are the ones that I really like. So that's kind of the scoop behind that. Let's see. James, I sent you some pics on 2 truck purchases I made to Instagram. I know very little about Instagram, James. I post on it a little bit, but if you send them on Instagram, I didn't see them. So let's see. What's Facebook? We got some things going on Facebook tonight. What do I have in my personal collection? Scott says, thanks for a better view of Heather Thomas. Carol, couldn't get on Toy Tuesday. Please review procedures for the newbies. A couple of these things I want to address on Facebook real quick. Toy Tuesday, Carol, I just do on YouTube. I typically do that in the shop from my phone. So I run just YouTube on Toy Tuesdays. So you'll need to be on the Nobody Show channel on YouTube on Toy Tuesdays to catch those. What I have in my personal collection, there's 20 some of them next door. A lot of F-bodies, a few cars from the 50s. So, a lot of Firebirds and Camaros in there. I'm a really big fan of the F-bodies. The cab overs are over there. We've got to start doing some videos on some of that stuff. I know I've had a lot of requests for them. I've got a video up on my 58 Pontiac on YouTube. One of my 02 Dodge truck I have a video on. So I got to start working some of that stuff in. I've had a lot of requests for it. But I mean, we could go on all night just going through that list. I don't want to get completely off base and lose everybody, but yeah, I got to start working some of that stuff in. So let's see, lots of stuff going on Facebook as well. There it is. You guys are all over me on this thing. Got to get the Hudson badge up. Bill, I like this 2 signs I found in the attic. Yeah, that was a great video. If you guys didn't catch the video of the signs I dug out of the attic last weekend while I was out on the road, you got to check that out. I'll get those cleaned up. We'll work those into a Toy Tuesday. I'll probably work them into a Toy Tuesday as is, and then we'll see how they clean up. So, Glenn, anybody have a 57 4-door builder in Minnesota? If anybody's up in Minnesota, the 57 Chevy 4-door builder, Glenn is looking. Let's see. Just trying to make sure I don't miss anybody. James, I bet Heather would be honored knowing you got her up there. Yeah, that picture's been up there for a long time. So, but yeah, it's cool. I like it. So it's a neat piece. It's a good addition. Christian's on with us. Sorry, I missed last week, but been in Egypt on vacation. Bad internet there. Well, glad you made it back with us tonight. I believe you're in Germany, if I remember correctly, Christian. You might let me know if you want to correct me on that. But you've been with us before, and I believe you are in Germany, if I remember correctly. So. Number one's got a new rule. Hudson badge can only roll 2 beers per Sunday. You might get outvoted on that, number one. But Jason says thanks. He's parched. So But anyway, that's what's happening. That's the scoop behind the lease sign. We got some more of them. We'll work in here and check out. Yeah, it didn't last. Number one, Bill already commented rules are made to be broken. So I guess you can make whatever rules you want. They don't care. That's right. Christian is with us from Germany. Thanks. So glad you're here. Glad you made it. What time is it in Germany, by the way? I know we've got some people that hang out with us from Australia and New Zealand, and I think it's around noon on Monday over there, if I remember correctly. But anyway, looks like we are caught up at this point. So I want to throw a couple more things in there. Cement Surfer's just taking half shots. Eloy's on with us. Toy Tuesday, as well as next Sunday, I'm not going to schedule to be on. I've got some stuff going on Tuesday, and I should be done by 7, but I'm not 100% sure that I will be. So don't plan on Toy Tuesday. And then, like we talked about the last couple of weeks, next Sunday night, I've got some stuff going on that is not supposed to be done until about 7. So I'm going to, so we will not be on next Sunday, and I will not plan on being on Tuesday night. So we will just be on regular videos this week. So please keep that in mind. 2:10 in the morning in Germany. Well, I'm glad you're up at 2:10 in the morning to hang out with us. So, James, this is what about roll call? Post where everybody's from. We could catch some of that too. It's always interesting to find out where everybody's at that's hanging out with us. BW is on. Kenny says that's cool. Somebody from Germany. Yep. James is in southeastern Virginia, so he's Eastern time. Sebastian made it tonight. How's the new diesel tech job going, Sebastian? Hope it's working out for you well. So just keep that in mind. If for some reason I would get done in time Tuesday, we may look at those signs in dirty condition or something quick, but don't plan on anything scheduling for sure on Sunday or on Tuesday night. So Kenny's out of Ohio, Bill's in York, PA, Tim out of Washington State, Kevin in Oklahoma. So literally about coast to coast and a little bit worldwide even tonight. So Pete's in Arkansas. But what are we going to talk about tonight? Obviously, first off, next weekend, Trailer Trash Projects is here too. Ken out of Western New York's on Facebook. Jim's out of Michigan. Yep, number one, or Ken. Yeah, I don't know if Kim's in the Buick can or not tonight. We'll have to see. Norma's out of Hutch, Kansas, not too far away from me. Lee out of New York. Rusty Nails is Midwest Illinois. Kim and BW Southeast PA. Rusty, Northern Wisconsin. Jason's on. Kim, no, not this time. I didn't think they were in. So, but we got them ready. And Mike Shook put us to number 10. So we're going to pull 3 names tonight. So Mike Shook got in this afternoon. Our good friend Mike Shook at Auto Artistry. Like we've talked about before, he put my cab over Ford together, my daughter's cab over Ford. Be sure to check out Auto Artistry as well. He sponsored a bunch of the cans we've given away on here. So be sure to check out Auto Artistry on Facebook as well as his website and check out the cool builds they've got going on over there. Those guys do some killer stuff. Chris out of Iowa's on. Alec out of New Hampshire. So got a good group on Facebook tonight. Hopefully Facebook's hanging in there a little bit better than it has been here recently. Let's see. Don from Nashville. David, Northwest Ohio. So let's see. Number 1, the Great White North, Edmonton, Alberta. Tony's out of South Dakota. Frank's out of Rochester, New York. So literally top to bottom and side to side, we're all over. Big jobs out of Big Bend, Wisconsin. But obviously the important thing we want to talk about tonight, that's right, James, car guys are worldwide. Absolutely. Trailer Trash Projects from Tucson. So we are worldwide, which is great, and that's what makes this community a great thing. The community we've got on here with just so many different people from so many walks of life, from so many different parts of the world, all coming together to hang out and check out cool stuff. So Yogi Bear from the North Florida swamp. Out stealing picnic baskets probably. But obviously Wichita Swap Meet coming up next weekend. Dan from Defiance made it tonight. The Wichita Swap Meet has been going on for decades, since back in the 70s. Sebastian's South Central Texas. But I don't really remember the time when there wasn't a Wichita swap meet. It started in the mid '70s, so it's about as old as I am. First time I remember going to it was probably in about '83 or '84. The reason I remember that is because my grandpa had a Ford conversion van we took down, and that was about an '83. So that's kind of my first recollection of it. We started setting up at that swap meet in around '88, I think. So I'd have been 13, 14 years old, somewhere in that window. And we've set up there every year since. It's changed locations about 4 or 5 years ago. It was out at what was the Kansas Coliseum, but they've sold, that facility was sold. Couldn't have it out there anymore. They moved it to Century 2 in downtown Wichita, which the parking situation is not ideal. However, the other option was not have a swap meet. So at least they worked with what they had, and they've kept it going for another 4 or 5 years, at least up until this point. It is sold out. I do expect a good turnout. And, people are itchy to get out and do something. That got completely canceled last year. It got shortened 2 years ago. So I'm looking forward to a good swap meet. I'm looking forward to seeing a lot of people that you only see at the swap meet. There's people that I've known from the Wichita swap meet, and literally that is the only time I ever see them. I see them once a year at the Wichita swap meet, and have for decades. And that's what's also cool about it. So, number one, how was the Motel 6 last week? No, hotel was fine. Didn't have any problems with the hotel at all last night. So, let's see. I've got a few comments popping up here. Let's see. Some gas prices are out of whack. There's no doubt about that. So, anyway, that's where I'll be next weekend. Or part of the weekend. I will be set up there. I hope to see some of you there. If you're going to be there, absolutely stop by and say hi. Brian wants to hold the Buick can up so I can take a picture of it. Okay, the Buick can, it's full of names. It's got lots of names in it. I don't know if you guys can hear them or not, but there it is. It's loaded up for tonight. So there's the Buick can ready for this evening's event. We'll call it an event. How's that? But I started getting some stuff out and ready for the Wichita swap meet. Started sorting through. Where's it held in Wichita? It is at Century 2, which is downtown. Like I said, there's a lot of people that haven't been happy with it. Is it ideal? No, it's not as good as it was when it was at the Coliseum out at the pavilions. But the other option was you don't have it. So, it's probably not quite as good as far as the layout, but there's plenty of room. I was actually doing some looking a little earlier today at the facility. It's like a 93,000 square foot facility, and it's sold out. So there's going to be a lot of people there and a lot of stuff there. But like I said, I've been going so long, I've been setting up so long that I don't know any different. I don't sell a ton of parts there, but if I can sell enough to cover my expenses for going, make a lot of good connections, hopefully get to meet some of you. It's going to be a lot of fun. I will have t-shirts with me there. If somebody wants a t-shirt, I am going to take a few shirts. I'll have some parts. Like I said, we're going to be getting some stuff ready. EB, any good burgers in Wichita? I'm sure there are. We just go from the hotel to the swap meet and back, and that's about it. I think there's a Texas Roadhouse pretty close to the hotel that we ate at last year. So that's what we did 2 years ago. 2 years ago, it got cut short. It's a Friday, Saturday meet, and about 1 o'clock on Friday 2 years ago in 20, they came around and said 5 o'clock tonight, we're done. Only people allowed back in on Saturday morning are vendors to load up because the city shut everything down. Last year, they canceled it completely. It doesn't exist. They didn't have it at all. So this year, I'm looking forward to a good meet, getting back in the groove, getting to see a lot of people, and having a good time. So where I'm going to be at, I've got a really good location. That's another thing. There's like 4 blocks kind of to this facility. There's the expo hall, the convention hall, an exhibition hall. And there are 3 huge halls. They're all connected together. It's all one building, but they can have different events. There's why it's set up that way. For the size and scope of this swap meet, they've just got all of it. I am basically from the expo hall. They have kind of like a little lobby area. And then as you go through from the expo hall to the through the lobby area, you go past the concession stand. And then there's kind of a pinch point where it narrows as you go into convention hall. I'm literally right at that pinch point, right next to the concession stand. So if anybody's going to be there, be sure to look me up and stop by and say hi. So, Kevin, another walk around would be good. Probably here in a couple weeks. We'll be doing another yard walk around here. I'm hoping into March that we'll get a nice day where we can go out and get a walk around in. So, number one, you should sell handy wipes next to the concession stand. Yeah. So, anyway, that's what I got going on this weekend. Like I said, I'm starting to get ready, digging some stuff out, pulling some stuff out of stuff that's on eBay that I'm going to take that's kind of interesting. I've got to go through that stuff, check it out, and then I mark it down. I look it up what I got a price on eBay so I can mark it down because there's no eBay fees and shipping or anything to deal with. So I mark it down to take it to the swap meet. So I've been digging some of that stuff out, getting some totes ready. Sebastian, when I see Classic Cars Crushed, I think about the song "You're Worthless" from the movie from Brave Little Toaster. I never saw that, but Sebastian made a comment. He saw that iron was going up, and that may lead to the end for a few more classic cars as well. So, Grant's on with us tonight. Straight Six fan on YouTube. You should have checked Grant out. Grant's been a good friend for the last few years. Been teaching me a lot. Can I load your trailer back up with the 95 F-150 before I head back to Great Bend? I'm not bringing a trailer with me, so that wouldn't work out. Yogi Bear's a fan of the porcelain signs as well. But that's where I'm going to be. I don't know if you're going to be coming to the swap meet or not, Grant, but anybody that's there, like I said, be sure to stop by and say hi. Looking forward to a great weekend. And then, like I said, starting to get back to normal. Grant says, I almost bought a 1979 AMC Spirit today. I see one problem with that statement, Grant. It started with almost. I mean, I'm a little confused here why it said almost. I don't know why you didn't buy an AMC Spirit today. So, anyway, that's what's going on. I'm trying to keep an eye on comments here as we go. Christian, eBay store is the same as the business name. Nobody Else's Auto. Just all lowercase, all run together. No spaces, no commas, no dashes. Just Nobody Else's Auto is my eBay store. James says 82 in Virginia today. It was about 30 here with snow flurries, so that wasn't any fun. Let's see. Oh, Grant said it had more rust than he thought. So, but I don't know. 79 AMC Spirit sounds like it would be kind of cool. So, Sebastian, anybody want an F600 dump truck? Probably depends on what year it is and where you've got it at, Sebastian. But there might be somebody interested in it. But anyway, let's keep moving. I got lots of notes. We got comments have been crazy tonight. I apologize. I'm kind of getting thrown off course a little bit just by the amount of comments that are rolling in here. So trying to keep up with that as well as keep up with my notes so we can keep moving forward. But anyway, let's get into some badges. Let's auction some pieces off, and then let's get into a magazine. Then we're going to give away a pedal car, and then we're going to do we're going to do some trivia. So, and we're going to kind of break some of that stuff up. We're going to do badges, and then we're going to do the auction, and then we're going to get into the magazine. Reason I'm going to do that is because on my sheet here, I had the auction and the raffle, and trivia all together in a row, and I would have so many names scribbled off here over to the side. I got done, and I was going back and try to match up who to what. So, we're going to break that up. We're going to do badges, auction, magazine, trivia, raffle. So the auction is going to be coming up here pretty soon if you know anybody that wants to get on for the auctions. But before we do that, we're going to check out some badges. I'm going to show you this one too. So Jason's on the way to the fridge and he missed it. So you guys will have to let him know he missed one. Let's see. Number one, top shelf above right shoulder, Shelby Coupe, C4, Nissan Z, or none of the above. Up over here would be none of the above, and up over here would be none of the above. So, but badges for tonight. As always, we've got an earlier one, a little bit newer one. Bill's going to be at Maple Grove for the flea market in a couple of weeks. James, yeah, the pics I sent your Instagram was one of the 66 Chevy truck step side. Is it a private collection? Yeah, I didn't see any of that because I said I know very little about Instagram. I've figured out enough to where I can post on it, and that's about the extent of what I know about it, honestly. But the first badge tonight, and this is a cool badge. This is a great badge. This is off of a Dodge Brothers truck from 1929, 1930 era, and it is an amazing piece. I'm going to show it to you so you can see some of the detail before we start getting into the details about it. But check this thing out. It's gorgeous. Big winged Dodge Brothers with the DB below it. This one is 2 1/8. It's 2 1/8 inches across on a circle. We can see how the wings shape, slope up each side, with a space in between as both wings come up on each side. The Dodge Brothers in enamel, the DB below it. This was a pressed on badge as well. Whoops, if I can hold on to it. It was pressed on the back on the grill shell, But yeah, it's cool. Jason says wants it. This one's not for sale. But yeah, Kevin digs it. Old school digs it. This is a great badge. This is actually one that my daughter definitely had stashed off on a separate board. The tape came loose. I thought we'd check it out tonight before I put it back on. But it's a cool piece. From what the research I found on my new favorite website, Automobile Emblems or whatever it's called. This is a 1929, 1930 era bigger truck, 3/4 ton and up. And Jason's trying to buy it, but it's not for sale, so it doesn't matter. But just keep those numbers ready because we're going to be ready to roll with some auction stuff here pretty quick. These what was interesting was it said these larger series Dodge trucks in 1929 and 30 were actually built by Graham Brothers, and then Dodge essentially bought them and put their badge on them. So, but it is a great piece, cool detail in this one. Big fan of it. James is on here with us tonight. Was out working, but he made it tonight. Number one, I heard that when Mercedes-Benz owned Mopar, they were going to sell the trucks off to American buyers who were going to call them Dodge Brothers trucks. I don't remember ever hearing that because the trucks and Jeeps were the most profitable part of the company. So I don't think they would have wanted to sell those off. So, but this was a cool piece. Like I said, this was definitely one that we jumped on here. Or that we jumped on when we first started buying badges out of this collection. This is one that she picked out right away. And we definitely had this one stashed for our private collection. But like I said, it's not for sale. You can't buy it, but I love sharing them with you. And, and if some of the stuff that I've got duplicates on will definitely get worked into the auction. So. The next badge is probably going to be a little more familiar to a lot of you. And this is an original. It's actually off of a car in the yard. This was still on the car when it came in. And I've still got the car out there. Unfortunately, the engine was gone when I got the car. But this is a great piece, and it's one that I've always admired. That's why as soon as I got this car, I took it off and kept it for my own personal collection. The 1959 Chevrolet hood badge for the 348 powered cars. Believe it or not, this came in on a Bel Air four-door sedan. It was a 59 Bel Air's four-door sedan with factory in-dash AC and it was a factory 348 car. So number one says Dodge Brothers badge, drink with your left hand. We'll slide this one in there though. Charlie, do you have any Kaiser stuff? I do have some Kaisers in the yard, depending on what year we're talking about and what you need. So yeah, you can give me a shout on that tomorrow, and we can go over some of the details on it. But Kevin says that's freaking awesome. Yeah, he said he'd take it. Like I said, I've always been a fan of this badge. This is not a reproduction. This is an original off of the car. They do reproduce this badge. You buy a new one for like $130. So they're not rare anymore because you can buy new ones. But to me, I love the original stuff. This has a few flaws in it. It's got a few pits starting along the bottom edge. I did repaint it, obviously, the red, the black, and the white. I did repaint that because it is just a display piece for me. Bill says, where's the gray kitty at? Actually, Bill, she's in the litter box. That's where she's at right now. But she's in here. There's the golden kitty. There's a black and white kitty. There's like 4 or 5 of them in here right now. It's a little out of hand. So, Big Job says it's a great badge. Grant, straight 6 fan. I think 3 different Packer clippers for sale locally. That is kind of weird. Jason says he always drinks with his left hand. Pete says it's a work of art. Yeah, it is. Big Job says for the toolbox badge. This one actually is not totally a flat mount. It has a slight curve to it. I don't know if you guys can see it or not. It's actually kind of got 2 slight curves to it because of the way the front edge of the hood rolls slightly, and then it goes right on the peak of the hood. So it's not a totally flat mount, but it is a great badge. So that's why it was definitely one that I was going to keep. Number 1, so a shield with a Chevy bow tie and 3 stripes. What do the stripes represent? Don't know. Never dug that far into it. I just know I like the 348 badges because they had the rally flags. Got a few more of these old original 348 badges that we'll be looking at over time. Put that badge on your brand new retro fridge. Yeah. I know there's 1 or 2 more 348 badges different than this, but badges off of 348 powered cars that I personally think are pretty cool. So this one is in good shape. I mean, as you can tell, all the mounting studs are still intact. You can still see on the back where it has the original part number cast into it down here. So cool piece. Definitely dig it. And I'm glad you guys did too as well. But that's what's cool about this. We all learn stuff. We check out different cool things. It gives us ideas of stuff to add to our collections and things to watch for and stuff like that. If we find something we really dig. So tri-power, but the 3 stripes mean tri-power. Yeah, you could get 3 deuces on a 348 back then. So Sebastian says he needs to get a fridge from the 50s. Yogi Beer says the pits give it character. Kevin says you could hurt somebody with that badge. Yeah, you actually could. This thing's got a little bit of weight to it. It is pop metal. And it does actually have a pretty decent point to it. I mean, so yeah, I guess you probably could. But it is cool. Forgot to talk about how big it is, so you guys can have an idea. It's 11.5 inches long. And it's about 3 inches tall. So it's almost a foot long. Number 1, the Fleur de Lis, the flower of life, represents Louis Chevrolet's French heritage. So there we go. That number 1 helped us out right there, right out of the gate, and shared a little information with us. So cool piece. I definitely dig it. I'm glad you guys liked it as well. But I was excited. I was excited to get the car anyway, but I was like, that thing's coming off immediately and going into my collection. Hudson badge. Sebastian says that's a serious badge. Yeah, it is. So, who's ready for some auction stuff? Big Job says he'd machine a mounting bezel for it and then mount it. Yeah, you could do that. You can make a little base for it to fit on it and then mount it flat. Like I said, we're going to go ahead and do the auction just so I got, primarily so I've got my notes separated. Plus, we'll do the auction stuff, then we'll do the magazine, and then we've got the trivia and the raffle so I can make more notes at the bottom of my page. So I want to split that stuff up a bit if that's cool with you guys. If you guys absolutely don't like that plan and you want to do it all together, let me know and I'll rework my sheets. I'm just trying to think of what's the most efficient and effective way to do this thing. So, Tony, I have 2 Willys hood latches. One's all brass and the other's brass with chrome plate 3738. That'd be pretty cool stuff. Jason says he's got one that just has more characters. So. And Jason's trying to buy it too. Well, we're going to sell some stuff right now. I've got 2 cans and a badge tonight to auction off. So I guess we'll start with a small can, then we'll do the badge, and then we'll do the bigger quart can. So who's ready? Who's ready for some auction stuff? We'll start off with this. It's a little household oil can, and it's super cool. This is a Wanda household oil can. I thought this was a cute little can. It's got a little smiley, happy drop of oil on it, on both sides, as a matter of fact. Still even got the little screw cap on top of it, the original little cap that screwed on top of it so it didn't spill out. But this was a 4-ounce can, Cato Oil and Grease Company, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. And it is 3 3/4 high and 2 inches wide. So this is a really cute little can. And we're ready to open up the bids on it. So who's going to start us off on the Wanda can? It's a cool little deal, blue and yellow with the smiling little happy drop of oil. So here we go. Anybody wants to get going? Let's go ahead and get started on the Wanda can if we've got any bids on it. So, or if nobody wants it, we'll move on to the next one. Nope, Lee's in at 5, number 1's in at 15. This is a cool little can. Who's Wanda? I don't know. Maybe that's what the drop of oil's name is. But it is a cool can. So Sebastian's in at 20. Better get my phone set up here and get ready. So when we put it on 90 seconds, we're ready to go. Norma came in at 20. I've got Sebastian first at 20. Joe just came in on Facebook, but we're already well past Joe. So old school is 2 rubles, whatever that means. I don't know what that means, but I've got Sebastian at 20 as of right now on the Wanda can. Big Job said he knows Wanda. So let's see. Let me get my phone set up here and get to the stopwatch and get set up here. Okay, as always, I'm going to give you guys 90 seconds. Number 1 is in at 23. What year is this? It does not have a year on it. It is empty. It's got a couple little dinghies over here on the side, but they're pretty minimal. But it is a cool piece. Bottom's nice and clean. Been well preserved. Nice color, cool can. All right, I'm going to give you 90 seconds. Roadkill Buzz is on with us. So high bid right now is Sebastian at 26. As always, remember, give it plenty of time to go through. I will tell you when we're at 30, 60, and then getting close to 90. Old school says looks like 70s. Could be. I'd almost say probably 60s, though, because it is metal. I mean, it is a metal can. So we can see the actual seam on it right over here. So, all right, we're going to set the timer for 90 seconds. Sebastian's the high bid at 26. And here we go. Like I said, be sure to give it plenty of time to get your high bid in because every time, inevitably, something pops through 10, 15 seconds after we're done selling the can. So, as of right now, we're Sebastian at 26. And it's a cute little can. A little smiling, happy drop of oil. He's just ready to lube up whatever you need that's dry around the house. Sewing machine, door latches, car doors, take it out in the garage, wherever you need, put a drop of oil. There we go. So 30 seconds has passed. Cute little spout on it. Plastic top with the original plastic cap on it. 45 seconds has passed. If the address has a zip code, it's after 71. There is no actual address or zip code. Just says Oklahoma City on it. So 1 minute. We are 1 minute past. We are down to 30 seconds. I've got Sebastian at 26 on this can. So if anybody comes in, then we're down to 20 seconds left. I've still got Sebastian at 26. So 15 seconds left. Sebastian, he said he's done, but he may end up with it at 26. It's a cool can for 26. So just about over. And that's it. So I've got Sebastian at 26. That's a cool can for 26. So I'll put that with your other piece that I got held for you, Sebastian, on that. So let me make a couple of notes here. And we'll get rolling. Okay. Everybody looks like they're getting thirsty. So, all right. The Wanda can's going to Sebastian. I'll put that off to the side. I will put it with his other piece from last week so we can get that wrapped up when we get ready to finish up there. So, next we're going to do a badge. How can Sebastian afford that in his diesel engineering textbooks? Well, actually, he started work a couple weeks ago, number one. He started a new job. So he'll so hopefully he's going to be making pretty good money, and so he can afford to play a little bit. And if he's been working to get through school to get to this point, then he probably deserves to get a few cool things for himself. Next one we're going to check out, this is kind of a little bit bigger badge. It's not mint. It's been banged up a little bit, but it's statement piece, and you can't miss it. This is there's a lot of cool features about this one, so we better just show it to you and check it out. That's right, number one says good stuff for your toolbox at work, so that's perfect. Rusty Nails After 64 has barcodes on oil cans. Okay, that's something good to watch for. This badge here, Big Job says Sebastian's a gambler by night. This is a little bigger than our smaller badges and a few years newer. This is a late 40s badge for a big old Chrysler. And this thing's really cool. It is definitely a statement piece. This is one that I've got better ones. So this is an extra one. And this one isn't bad by any means. This in the center here, we'll take a little closer look at it. It did have some enameling in here, some red. Part of that is chipped away. It's got some bluish purple down here around the gold Chrysler badge. Obviously, the Chrysler right across the front. A crown on the top. I mean, literally making it look, making a statement piece when you're putting a crown right on the front of your car. So, Daniel, can you still use a rotisserie on newer vehicles? It just depends. I mean, depending on most vehicles you can, because newer vehicles are unibody and they use them on, even on the cars from the 60s that were unibody, so they probably can. So we're rolling on YouTube already. Jason, Kevin, and Jason and Steel Ponies Jeff are all in immediately. I've got Jason at 25 is my high bidder at this point. This is a V shape since it went on the front of the car. It is not a flat mount. That's right. Brian says Walter P. Chrysler. Lori, 48 Windsor. Yep, this is 46 to 48 Chrysler. That's Sebastian. I collect books and have a bunch of the ones I needed. So I got secondhand books at stores. So that's great. That helped too. Kevin at 28. Keep an eye on Facebook as well. Got a few people playing on Facebook. But Kevin at 28, as of right now, is the high bidder on this thing. Anything else I want to point out before we put it on the timer? One broken mounting stud right here. The other three studs are intact. Nice, bright, shiny chrome on it. Few spots where the chrome is starting to peel, like right over here and right down here. So definitely not a high-quality showpiece, but a killer display piece. So anyway, get the timer set here. I've got Mary at 30 is our high bid. And we are on the timer right now, 90 seconds. I've got Mary at 30 at this point. Jason said he's out. So I've got Mary at 30. The timer is on the 90-second deal. As always, keep an eye on that time. If you're going to get in, Sebastian's in at 35 because we always have something pop up late. So I'll give you the 30, the 60, and when we're getting close to 90. So keep an eye on Facebook as well in case some guys want to play over there. Big Jeff says keep the cash flowing. That sounds like a plan to me. 30 seconds has now passed. Just under a minute left at this point. I've got Sebastian at 35 on this super cool Chrysler badge. 45 seconds. We're halfway through the timer. So if anybody wants to get in, now's your chance. Coming up on a minute, like I said, make sure you get it ready and get it sent because it usually takes a few seconds to go through. And 1 minute has passed. We're down to 30 seconds. If anybody else wants to jump in, now is your chance. Keep an eye on that. Sebastian, somebody outbid him. You might get this one too. That's all right. I'll put it with your other pieces till we get. Yeah. Sebastian usually doesn't win this much. So that's all right. We're about out of time. And looks like you're going to end up with this one as well, unless somebody jumps in here at the last second. So, and it looks like Sebastian got that as well. So, Nate come in at 40, like 10 seconds too late. That's what we always run into, guys. Unless Sebastian tells Nate he can have it, that's up to you, because I said sold just as Nate popped up. So, if Sebastian says Nate can have it, we'll go with that. I'm going to jot you both down, and then you let see where we go from there on whether Sebastian wants it or he wants to let Nate have it. So anyway, I've set that off to the side. That one's over. We'll see if Sebastian wants it or if he wants to let Nate have it here shortly. As we get ready to do the last thing we've got for tonight for the auction before we get into the magazine and then trivia and then the raffle. We're going to do another can tonight, and this is a super great can. I was actually really excited about it. Condition is just average, but the graphics, the paint, and the color is awesome. So that's what excites me about it. It is an earlier can. I don't know what the exact year is on it, but it is a great piece. Let's see. There was this. Yeah, Jason says it's only money. So let me know, Sebastian, if you want it or if you want to let Nate have it, and we'll go from there. This next can, though, this is great. Champlain Hy-V motor oil. This is all original paint. The top was cut out of this. So it Nate says, yeah, he would have bid sooner. Well, hey, I think Sebastian was winning too much. He kind of wanted somebody else to bid. So we'll see what he says. Number one says 13 on this Champlain can already right out of the gate. All metal can. We can see the seam right over here where it was put together. Yeah, the old school says nice can. It's got a dent right here at the bottom. I hope all you guys can see that on both formats. And I'm not really sure if we're still on Facebook. Something just happened on Facebook. Okay, looks like we're still on. Okay, there we go. I got the feedback on Facebook. Sebastian says he prefers full can, so he's out on this one. Lee's in at 20. But yeah, this is a cool can. I really dig this one. There's one other super cool piece on the back here too. Number one says, wait, I just bid on a can of HIV. Yeah. And that's where I was just going. Big job. It's great to put pens and pencils in on your desk. But if you're sitting this on your desk like this for other people to see, you got to see the back of this thing right there where it's got that super cool Champlain badge on it. It's got a little bit of surface rust up here, but the Champlain is great. Refined from 100% paraffin-based crude oil and refinery sealed by Champlain Refining Company, Enid, Oklahoma. So lots of bids coming in on this one. Joe's in on Facebook at 22. Pete was at 22. I got Lee at 25. So, and then I got Buzz with Roadkill at 25 as well. So I've got Lee at 25 on the Champlain Hy-V. So this, like I said, it's a great can. It's got great graphics. Other than the fact the top's cut out, it's got a little bit of surface rust on the back. It's got a few scratches over here, but the thing's probably 60, 70 years old. So I think if a lot of us are doing that good when we're this age, that's probably not too bad. So Kim's got to jump off her phone's about to die. So yep, some Oklahoma stuff tonight, that's for sure. Guy with the car guy, such a cool can. It is a great can. It is, like I said, I'm sure I've got one because this one I had for sale. So anyway, we'll get ready to put this on the timer here. Where are we at right now? I've got Lee at 25. I've got Kenny at 28. Had Alec at 27 on Facebook. So we've got some Facebook action on this one as well. Okay, Sebastian said to let Nate have the badge. So if you want it, Nate, it's yours, because Sebastian has got some other stuff bought. So if you want the badge, Nate, it's yours. Let's see, where are we at? Lee at 30 is where I'm at on the Champlin can. And we're going to set the timer for 90 seconds. And watching both, since I've got some bidders on Facebook on this one as well. We've got Lee at 30 and 90 seconds is starting now. Cool piece. Love the Champlin on the back. Love the colors on the front if I don't drop it and scratch it up. And we'll see what happens with this. This is a cool piece. It's a great addition to any collection. Jason, nothing I like better than a nice can. That's true. So keep an eye on Facebook. If Joe or Alec want back in, right now we've got Lee at 30. So Kenny says he's out on YouTube. We are at 30 seconds. We've got 60 seconds left. As always, get ready if you want to jump in on this one and make sure it has enough time to come through. But Lee at 30 as of right now. And we are at the halfway point, 45 seconds. So anybody wants in, it's time to jump in now. Got the cargo fills a set of cans. Yeah, and Jason likes a nice can. But it's a great piece. I dig it. Like I said, I've got one, so this one can go down the road. 1 minute has passed. 30 seconds is left. If anybody else wants in, I've got Lee at 30 as of right now. Joe is in at 32 on Facebook. So I've got Joe at 32 as of right now. 15 seconds left. If anybody else is in, or we'll see if Joe's going to end up with this one. 10 seconds left. And let's see. 5. And that's it. We've got Joe at 32 on the Champlin can. So we've got Joe. This one's headed to Joe. Yeah, Nate, I can throw that. I can throw that in my swap meet box and bring it down with me. That won't be a problem at all. So I will definitely do that on the Chrysler badge for you. Jason says he likes cans, just can't afford them. It's pretty close to that, number one, but you got to remember it brings in about $100. But I also had to buy all this stuff. You know, I don't, just like last week when we were out on the road and I bought that big batch of 30 some cans. You know, that was a guy that I knew. And he was only about 10 or 15 minutes out of my way. But by the time I got off the highway, drove 10 or 15 minutes to see him, was there for 30, 45 minutes to go through the cans, get them bought, get them loaded up. Because, you know, we had to look at them, go through them, negotiate on them, and then box them up, load them up. You know, I had an hour to an hour and a half out of my day on the way down to do that. Plus I had the, I had to buy them. And just like all this other stuff, I had to buy it to get it here. So it's bringing in some money, but it's not, you know, when I'm not losing anything, but I'm definitely not getting rich on them, number one. So, but it's fun. It's fun. It's extra stuff that I've got. It can add to your guys' collection, and we're having a blast doing it. So, Jeff, do I collect or get promo models? I've got tons of promo models, Jeff. Tons and tons of promo models. I love promo models. I got a whole case of them right there with about 50 or 60 of them in them right there. And that's just a start on them. Let's see. Guy on the car guy in Oklahoma. That's a whole day. BW still waiting to watch for the pedal car. Yep. And Kevin says it is fun doing it. And that's the whole point. Like I said, it does, you know, it helps support what we're doing here. But like I said, I don't get rich on it. I ain't losing nothing on it, but I don't get rich. Joe says, bring on more cans. I actually got another can laying here. Speaking of bring on more cans, did anybody watch the last River video Friday night? And check out that can. I'm curious if anybody saw that can. It was pretty rough, but I do that. Speaking of cans, does anybody remember watching that? There again, found it down at the River Cars. People are saying they're thirsty. They want that. So Kevin said he saw it. It was kind of, you know, it's almost kind of sad to see, but that's, you know, that happened back then. Nobody cared. Well, if you saw that can, here it is. Here's what's left of it. I went ahead and grabbed it. It's pretty crusty. But it was laying there, so I did put it back down because I didn't want everybody to know I went back later to grab it because I didn't want to carry it around in the video. So I did grab it and bring it back. I don't know if Buzz is already bidding at 25 or not. So, but I mean, I'll sell this. I don't care. I just thought it was a shame to leave it laying there. But Buzz already said 25. So if you're bidding, Buzz, that's we'll just roll with it. I don't care. Just let me know if that's if that's legitimate for the. Okay, but roadkill Buzz is in at 25. It's roadkill material. How many bullet holes? This has primarily rust holes, I think. Some of them may have started at bullet holes, but Buzz says he's in at 25. So if anybody else is in, just let me know. But that's that makes it worth picking up, and it covers shipping on it because it's probably going to cost $10 or $12 to ship because it's got a little bit of weight to it. But Buzz wants it for 25. I'll give everybody else a shot at it if anybody's interested before we completely just go with that. But let's see. All right, looks like we're caught up on comments. Jason says loves it. Yeah, like I said, it's rough, but I couldn't see leaving it there. Number one says roadkill's a new toothbrush holder. But that's it. It doesn't amount to a heck of a lot, but it's got such a cool look to it that I couldn't see leaving it laying there. So, no, this is bigger than a quart. This was, it's 7.5 inches tall. This was probably, I don't think it was a gallon either. I wonder if it was like a grease can or something. I don't know, like a 5-pound grease can, maybe. 7.5 inches tall. Diameter on it was about 5 3/8. Sebastian, it's like a piece of automotive art. Yeah, number one says those are speed holes. So that's right, guys. It's better to auction it off than to pollute anymore. I don't see any other bids coming in on this one. Like I said, I just kind of grabbed it as a fluke. Jason's half gallon. That's probably what it was a half gallon. So I don't see any other bids coming on, so we're going to go ahead and sell this. We're going to go and ship this one to Roadkill. I think that's a good spot for it. I think that's where it belongs. So we're going to put this one to Buzz for 25, and I'm actually glad that somebody wanted it. I was mainly worried about just to make sure we covered the shipping on it. So Buzz with Roadkill Customs, and be sure to check out Roadkill Customs. It's a great website. We've talked about it on here a lot. Buzz jumps on with us all the time. So be sure to check that website out as well. They do a lot of cool stuff on there. So excited. I'm actually super excited that that's where it's going. And I'm really glad that, that Buzz, and even all you guys have seen that it was worth picking up. So that's right. Jim says it's kind of like Riverkill. So anyway, let me get that jotted down. And super cool piece. Excited that it's going somewhere that's going to be put to good use. So really glad that I picked it up. Anyway, who's ready for a magazine? Magazine, trivia, raffle, new inventory, and next week. Lots of stuff going on. Tonight's magazine is Motor Trend. From February of 1980, the Car of the Year issue. Lots of cool stuff in here. Big Job says he's thirsty. Is the mobile can from the river the next auction? That's the one we just sold, number one. That's the one we just had up, and that's what we just sold. BW Garage was digging the 53 GMC on Roadkill, so I hope you guys are keeping it up with Roadkill Customs. Tons of cool stuff on Buzz's site. So Old School says he wishes it was 1980. Yeah. And we'll get boogieing through this. There is some cool stuff in here as always. And when we do Motor Trend, we always start off with the Detroit Report. Let's see. Sebastian, you got me started in collecting automotive magazines. So BW Garage says 50. It was 59 typo. Okay, I missed that. But let's get to the Detroit Report. for February of 1980 in Motor Trend. Number one says, how many Hudson badges have we had? I don't know. We'll give you another one, though, in case you're thirsty. Lori turned 16 in February of 1980. Old school, I honestly dislike life after 2001. But in the Detroit report this month, a lot of cool stuff. We'll give you a quick glimpse of it, and then we'll show you, we'll hit a couple of these articles. The first one right here at the top, Son of Trans Am. This is 1980. Remember, this is we've got to take ourselves back and put us in the time frame. I hope you guys are still with us on Facebook. I'm losing my feed again. So yeah, it looks like we're still good. Old school, I was one in 1980. That's right, guy with the car guy. He got it ahead of it. He got to it before we did. It was the Fiero. Sometime during the past year, I remember hearing an automotive biggie say that instead of hanging apart, all the major car makers would be cross-pollinating ideas so that they all might survive the next decade. And by the looks of things, they got together and said, let's all build an economical two-seater and begin marketing it somewhere around 1985. Well, Pontiac is right in there, stumping for a plastic body, two-seat, mid-engine sports car that will incorporate powertrain and suspension components from the X car, which, as we all know today, turned into the Fiero a few years later. It's looks like Scott and Alec both said they're still on Facebook, still hanging in there. So, let's see. Number one, it looks more like the Riata and the Fiero in that sketch. Yeah, kind of. The nose looks more like a Riata for sure. The side profile, I don't know what the side profile is actually supposed to look like, but another interesting article that I thought was kind of funny. And like I said, there's no way to catch all of these. I'm going to try to burn through some of these so we're not on here all night. The 4.3 liter Olds diesel dies. Yes, I didn't even know they did the 260 in a diesel, but they did. Oldsmobile has decided to drop its Dirty Dog 260 diesel because the 5.7 engine and corresponding clutch converter return the same mileage as did the smaller diesel V8. Originally, the 260 was the only diesel available as an option for the Cutlass line for the 1979 model year, but this year it will get the 350 and everybody should be happy. Considering how many diesels you see in G-bodies, I don't think there were a lot of people that were happy with them, period. There are a few of them out there. My buddy Mike's got a diesel Monte Carlo, and yes, they did put diesels in G-bodies, but they were not very popular at the time. So, but I did not know they did a 260 diesel. But I don't the way it sounds, it never actually made it into production. They were just playing with it, but it was something kind of different to me. Giles Car Guy says, look at Fiat from the side. I can see more Fiat there than Fiero or Riata. The other interesting article here, two more we're going to catch before we move on to some of the bigger articles. GM's double punch at Indy, and these are super cool and super rare. The GMC Indy haulers. Yes, they did. The Trans Am was the pace car that year. However, the GMC pickup was the hauler. They supplied Suburbans. They supplied pickups, multiple different things for the event. So kind of a cool deal there as well. Last tidbit of info. Sebastian, Oldsmobile did a diesel. I have to find one to match my Cadillac. Pacer gone away. And it's kind of ironic that Grant had brought this up a little bit earlier about AMC's in this window. On December 3rd, this would have been 1979, American Motors peacefully ended production of one of your favorite cars, the bulbous Pacer bathtub. An AMC spokesperson said the Pacer's demise was due to three reasons. Although the Pacer accounted for 30% of AMC sales when it was introduced in 1975, with 96,769 units, by the end of the 1979 model year, it had fallen to 5.4%, 7,105 units. Poor fuel economy was also a problem, but the largest single reason was the popularity of the Eagle. In October 79, it had accounted for a fat 70% of AMC's total sales. Eagles are so popular that there are already more than 5 months of orders in hand. To cope with the huge demand, AMC will boost daily Eagle output from 250 to 400 units. So Thought that was kind of an interesting article for the way some of the oddball cars from the 70s have caught on popularity. Number one, did Suburban come with a fire chicken on the hood? It does not say. It just said the trucks obviously did. And it just specifically says the Indy trucks will be white and silver with black and red trim and have a very Trans Am-like bird on their hoods. But it said GMC Truck and Coach Division will provide 50 pickups, trucks, Suburbans, and vans for general transportation. So the vans and Suburbans, it did not say if they were going to get the special paint scheme that the pickups got. Guy, the car guy, my parents had an 81 Olds diesel wagon. AMC Eagle would love to have one. Mike, GM not building the rotary for the Pacer killed it from the get-go. Yep. Next article we're going to check out, and this is kind of cool. As these 70s cars begin to gain traction, Ford versus Chevy. This is a road test between a Ford LTD and a new Caprice Coupe. Number one, those Eagles were huge during the ski hill boom and probably sold the most in resort towns. Sebastian, GMC made a COE hauler in 51 for Indy. I hadn't seen that. But this is kind of cool. It does give road test data on both of these cars. They were both coupes, which is something we don't see. The Caprice had very unique, apparently pre-production wheels on it, because I don't remember seeing these wheels on any sort of a Caprice in that era. BW's garage said his buddy's mom had an Eagle. Obviously, these were basic luxury coupes for the day. V8 rear wheel drive. The Ford had a 302 in it. The Chevy was a 305. And basic family cruisers, quarter miles times. The Chevy actually ran an 18.1. The Ford ran a 19.2. But these were basic luxury barges for the day. But there again, this information is cool now. Got on the car at a two-door Caprice Rare. Fairly, you didn't see a lot of them, and they're starting to get very popular. As a matter of fact, the new Old Cars Weekly literally has in fact, I've got it here because I just got it the other day, has a two-door Caprice on the front cover this month. So, yeah, they are fairly rare. This is an 80 when they squared it off. This 77 to 79 had the extremely unique back window, which is really hard to find and is getting really popular. I'll see if they got a good picture of that back window in here, and here they do. We look at this 79, you can see this 77 to 79 use this back window that had the sides cut down on it, which is a very unique piece. And we look at this 80, and it is squared off back here. Does not have the wraparound window, so that's definitely a different piece. Sebastian, Nash made exclusive tow trucks for the dealerships. Yes, they have one of those, and we've got it on a video from the Pioneer Auto Show in Myrtle, South Dakota, so be sure to check that out as well. No one says that glass is trapezoid. Yeah. So while we got the Old Cars Weekly, definitely check that out. We've talked about this on here before. My buddy Phil Skinner writes for him. Angelo Van Bogart is the editor. They do a great job with this publication, and why I like it is because it is not the same as everything else. One thing interesting about this issue that I thought was super cool, I'm going to point it out to you. Chevrolet and shows an auction preview issue. So this is a Chevrolet-based issue with Chevrolet cars. And I'm going to give them 100% credit for this. They've got an issue with Chevy cars. The only 69 Camaro I can find in here is one on the front of a calendar ad. So I was kind of, I got to give them credit. You do a Chevy issue and not have a 69 Camaro. Not there's anything wrong with 69 Camaros, but they're in every magazine out there. They got a Caprice. They got Chevettes in this issue. They got 63 Impala Super Sport. They had a Corvair in here. So cool magazine. And since that Caprice was there and this Caprice was here, perfect time to point out those differences. Jeff, I used to be an independent in the striping and decal installation industry. If I recall correctly, there was a Screaming Eagle hood decal for one of the Indy trucks. Yeah, that's what they had on those. So And this was kind of cool. I don't think they could have got these things any closer for the shot, but I'll show you guys these shots here where they literally got them side by side to show the nose and the rear of these cars. So, Pete got a subscription to Old Cars for Christmas a couple years ago and loves it. Not your typical car magazine. And like, that's exactly why I brought that up, Pete. And I'm glad you feel the same way about it. Those guys do a great job of getting stuff in there that is different. You know, there's nothing wrong with Camaros. There's nothing wrong with Chevelles. There's nothing wrong with Mustangs. But to me, you go to every Mecum I go to, there is row after row after row of them. Every car show, every Mecum. I love seeing the different stuff. I love learning the different stuff about the different models. So if you like different stuff and don't want to just read about 69 Camaros and Cudas, get a subscription to Old Cars Weekly. Twice a month. Tons of great information and tons and tons and tons of diversity. Kevin says you say it was monthly. It's twice a month. Old School likes obscure cars. And like I said, they do a good job with this one as far as getting different stuff in them. You know, that's what's great about them. Falcon Ranchero. You know, Pete just says, I wish there was more color. Yeah, and part of it is black and white. And part of it is color, but you're right. There is, you know, not all of it is, you know, it is partially a black and white publication. So that is something you got to deal with on it, but lots of cool stuff in it. Lots of different. Alec, you selling the Hudson tags? No, everybody wants to buy the Hudson badge. I think it's just because they wouldn't have to drink as much. So, but in case you're new to us, Alec, I don't remember if you've been on it before. You probably have. Every time we hold this up, everybody takes a drink. So that's why we keep doing it. And that's why everybody's asking for it. But back to the February 1980 issue of Motor Trend. Got a little off topic there, but we'll keep boogieing here as we're moving through some stuff here and check out what's going on. Up to, and this is a car I didn't even know they made. Jason's got dealership posters for 79 and 80 Caprice Classics. This is a car I didn't know anything about. Kenny says, don't you sell that one, Chad. So there it is. I won't sell it. You guys all like it too much. Kevin says he wants it too. Silver bird amongst the old. We compare the 25th anniversary bird to a whole flock of early birds. The 1955 Thunderbird compared to the 1980 Thunderbird 25th anniversary edition, which I did not know they made. I had not seen. But they have a whole row of Thunderbirds. They tested all of these things as kind of there again, it was a different time. They're doing the whole, Thunderbirds were legendary by then. Jose's here late, but here. Eloy's on Jack and Coke tonight. You better be careful with the Hudson badge and that. But it does break down a lot of the features of the Thunderbirds by different styles. Give specifications by year, a whole breakdown on them. So a lot of information in this article, but here's what I was not aware of. This actually was a silver anniversary 1980 Thunderbird. Mike said he's always a fan of the square birds. So I've never seen one of these. They probably weren't real popular. They probably didn't make a ton of them. And obviously a 1980 Thunderbird is not the most desirable car on the face of the planet. But it's something to keep your eyes peeled for if you want something different that would be, you know, not the same as everything everybody else has. But we need to keep moving along to the car of the year for 1980. And I'm sure some of you probably remember what it is, but don't give it away yet. Let's see. Let's work our way up to it. Let's build the excitement for the car of the year for 1980. 1980 car of the year nominees: the Pontiac Phoenix, the Oldsmobile Omega, the Lincoln Mark IV, the Chevrolet Citation, the Ford Thunderbird, the Buick Skylark, and the Dodge Murata. That was the the car guy says front wheel drive. I think they were rear, but I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure those were still a rear wheel drive Thunderbird. And I'm sure somebody else on here could probably tell me for sure, but I can go back real quick and see if it tells me. Yeah, I'm pretty sure these were rear wheel drive. It does not say, but it did have a V8 in it. So I'm assuming these were probably still rear wheel drive. And Rusty Nail said, yeah, they are. Cement Surfer, he's going with the Murata for the car of the year. But this was the whole shooting match. They broke it down piece by piece. They did the testing. Lots of people are fans of the Murata. All kinds of action shots. There again, still a lot of black and white magazines in 1980. Number one, those were the cars of the year. Those were the candidates for the car of the year. Jason says, yes, those Thunderbirds were real rear-wheel drive. So Rusty Nails is sipping. Jason backed that up for me. So, yep, that's it. There's the action shots. Kevin's voting for the citation. But there's the action shots from testing. And then they got really fancy with all kinds of bar graphs. The guy of the car got a nice body roll. Leads down with the citation. Miles per gallon, braking distance in feet from 60 mile an hour, from 30 mile an hour, slalom time, passenger comfort and convenience, dollar value, styling and design, quality, ride and drive. Here are all of the flow charts or bar graphs they had for all these tests. Big job, repainted a 78 T-Bird white on white with magnums, was sold it. Had it stolen twice. The Murata and some of the Chryslers in the 80s continue to use the PO. Bill's down for the Marauder. Jason's in for the citation. Kenny's down with the citation. Scott actually went out in a 61 T-Bird this morning. Scott was out riding with his friend in a 61 T-Bird Roadster today. So there again, we pop up a magazine article on T-Bird, and one of us was out hanging out in one today. That's guys the cargo. Yeah, way too much data. Yeah, a lot of data in that stuff to sort through if you were studying the car of the year in 1980. So, who's ready for the winner? Out of all those graphs, all those charts, all those body roll pictures, we get a big, yeah, that's right. Kevin said it wasn't the Pacer. We do know that. We get a big 2-page full color spread on the car of the year of the Chevy Citation, the winner of the 1980 Car of the Year award. So, old school Rubik's Cube debuted in 1980. Yep, Jeff just threw up the Citation. Yeah. So, yeah, a lot. Some of you guys knew it, and I knew that, so we just played along with it. Mike says no. Yep, the Citation was the car of the year in 1980. Number one, if you had to choose between the Omega, the Phoenix, and the Citation, you'd need all the data you could get. Yeah, there wasn't much difference between them. But that was it. That was our winner for 1980 for car of the year. And then it gives it a little bit more of a breakdown spiel on the Citation, since it was, I guess if you want to use the word top dog, you could say that, but I'd use that term fairly loosely, I guess. Big Job Citation was an ugly stepsister. Old school, worst thing that happened in 1980 was CNN launches. So I guess there's your disappointment for the night. There's your disappointing fact for the night. I guess we can put it that way. How's that sound, everybody? Kevin says he picked the Citation. He gets the Hudson badge. Nah, nobody gets the Hudson badge, but I'll share it with everybody. In my opinion, which of those candidates are the most valuable now? None of them have picked up. The Lincoln Mark V's are picking up, so I can see the Mark IVs coming up next. The Phoenix, the Omega, the Skylark, and the Citation are starting to get a little bit of a cult following. The Muratas, obviously, we can just tell right here by now that the Dodge Murata had a lot of fans. So, the Murata I could see having a future, and the Mark IV, but the small GMs I think are still going to take a little bit of time. Bill, I first tried to drive a Citation. I thought I was going backwards. So, all right, now that we're past the disappointing news for the February 1980 issue of Motor Trend, we'll go to a little more disappointing news. Kind of. ETV1, a $9 million experimental electric car, not unlike the second car you may someday find in your family garage. Number one, next week I'm switching to Oreos. Having 14 Oreos has got to be healthier than drinking this much beer. So, the ETV1, this is kind of an interesting vehicle, an interesting article on electric vehicles, especially where we're at today, in 2022. And there it is. And it is not the most attractive thing I've ever seen produced. Brian says, if he gets the Hudson badge, he gets the Buick can. Yeah, that stuff's all part of my private stash. I did read a little bit of this article just so I could share some of this with you guys as to what's going on. Frank says T-Birds were rear-wheel drive all the way to 97. Okay. Actually, I think the new Birds were even rear-wheel drive. I think my mom's little 02 or 03, I think those are rear-wheel drive. I think they've all been rear-wheel drive. That's a good point, Frank. I think they've all been rear-wheel drive, as a matter of fact. But this ETV1 electric car, this was kind of interesting, obviously, with where we're at today with a big push to EV. This was a $9 million development project, which, like I said, even at that point, compared to developing an entire new vehicle, it said at that point, Ford said it spent $700 million designing doing the 1980 pickup. So, but that was going to be spread over millions of trucks. This was $9 million on one vehicle. So Big Job says, yep, all T-Birds were. Number one, Wild Turkey, Brute, Old Spice, Brass Monkey, Brown Paper Cigarettes. What's the big ad going to be? Actually, hate to disappoint you, but no turkey hunt tonight either. I don't know what happens. Maybe we need to go back to like 1978 to get to the turkey hunt. Birds have the best life, never stuck in traffic. Let's see. But anyway, a real quick synopsis of what this project was. It is not a production car yet. It's not even intended to be a production car. This was strictly a design study. It was an experimental unit financed by the Department of Energy and built as a cooperative effort with Chrysler Corporation, General Electric, Globe Union for the batteries, and the Jet Propulsion Laboratory, a government-owned research and development center. So this was a joint venture with Chrysler, the battery company, GE, and the government, basically. Buchanan Auto Sales made it tonight. To design and develop this ETV1. Now, we've got a few more pictures of it, and there again, it's all black and white, so we can't see it real well, but I'll try to get my fingers moved here. Obviously not the most attractive thing they could have come up with by any means. So, but there it is. This was another experimental electric car from, developed in the late 70s in this 1980 magazine. Now, what I found really interesting were the specifications. It was front-wheel drive, electric motor, 4-passenger coupe, base price $9 million because they only built one. Engine Type G, a General Electric traction motor. It had a 108-volt battery pack. Horsepower continuous was 20. 20. Continuous horsepower 20. Peak horsepower was 41. Yep, 41. That's it. That's what you had in a whole car. So that's right. Sebastian has got nowhere except the prototype. Yeah, that's pretty much. Buzz Roadkill says that's an atrocious automobile. Yes, it's not. Like I said, it's not the most attractive thing I've ever seen designed. Kenny says it looks like a swollen DeLorean. Now, obviously, the one cool thing that we do see about electric vehicles in today's world, like we talked about when my cousin was in town, I drove his. My sister bought one. And I have driven a Tesla, and they boogie. I mean, it's pretty cool the way they launch. They will put you back in the seat, and they will boogie. Bill says it looks like a Citron. BW's got to bail off tonight. Glad you made it on for most of tonight. So when your car only goes 4 blocks, 41 horsepower, 8 blocks, 41 horsepower is pretty good. Kevin L, 21 horsepower with the AC on. But this is what cracked me up because obviously, the torque is instant in an electric car. Obviously, the Plaid being out now, and the Plaids run 9-second quarters, and it's pretty cool to see what they're doing with some of this stuff. Do I believe that it's totally practical and it's going to be practical in time in the near future? No, absolutely not. There's what it's going to take to put the infrastructure in is crazy, and not plus upgrade the grid and then put the infrastructure in for the battery or for the charging stations. But when I looked at this thing, at the stats on this, after hearing all the stuff that came out last year on the Plaid where it will run 9s, this car would blow through the quarter mile in 24.66 seconds. So the Plaid could literally make a pass, come back and make another pass, and this thing still wouldn't be down the track. So thought that was kind of out there. So let's check out some ads. Big job. Wonder how many people are going to die on the road from trying to fix an electric car. I don't know what kind of safety parameters they've got built into those to keep people from doing that. But let's get rolling with some ads so we can give this pedal car away here shortly. First ad we're going to check out, Jensen Car Audio. Speaker stacked on the nose of a Trans Am. Definitely a 1980 ad if I've ever seen one for car stereo equipment. Old school, never had a ticket in his life. Well, that's good. Tony's got a bail off, his phone's ringing. But I thought that was a good ad to start out with. Trans Am and car audio right out of the gate. Next ad, and I love working these in. Buzz Roadkill, yeah, Jensen was in all the rags back then. Yeah, they were all the rage back in the day. So, I used to just kind of skip over the alcohol and cigarette ads, but they've got, the more we looked at them, the more important I think that it's cool to check them out, because they define the times. So give any Manhattan the crowning touch with Seagram's 7. So we'll keep working some of these in. Number one, that's a pretty sweet looking hood instead of a blower or tunnel rim. Old school, I own some Newell stock US made linear power car amps from the early 80s. Yeah, I bet those were kind of cool pieces. Speaking of having a drink, Rusty Nails, a 98 Chevy S10 made electric truck. I've seen I've seen some conversions done on some of those as well. Here's another great ad that actually kind of rolled over to the next page on Jeep. The Jeep CJ. Who says economy has to be dull? What was cool about this, had a great color action shot of the Jeep kicking some sand up, and then it talked about the differential, the transmission, the lockout hubs, the frame, the engines. It gave a lot of technical stuff. The ad definitely caught your eye, and they actually put some stuff in black and white as far as some detail stuff. So, number one says 7 and 7's a deadly threat. The next ad, I had to check it out. I had to show it to you, because once again, sign of the times. We've got to take ourselves back 40 years to 1980 to window louvers, lift louver. It's hot. Yep. Who remembers the louvers on the back windows? Cement Surfer like the Jeep ad too. And this was a company that sold louvers. They were definitely an 80s era thing. So I thought we've got to check this ad out. This thing's too cool to ignore. So I wanted to share it with you as well. Next ad we're going to check out, and there again, we're going back 40 years, and a lot of us forget about some of this stuff. But Kevin says, yep, they're getting popular. Again, they've seen some. Rusty Nails says King Cobra had them. Yep, they are starting to make a comeback, because that period of cars is starting to make a comeback. Just like the old flipper hubcaps and the bomber seats and the hot rods of the 50s made a comeback. The 80s accessories, I firmly believe, are going to make a comeback, just like what you guys are talking about you're starting to see. Number one, my cousin had those and sold them in his Speed and Chrome shop. Yep. The next ad we're going to check out is because we've been trying to reach you about your car's extended warranty. Yep. Look, compare, tear out this ad and sign up on the GM Continued Protection Plan. So, yep, it was just as annoying back then. They just did it in print. You could flip right past the page. You didn't have to actually have to answer the phone and then hang up on them. Roadkill had his 77 Camaro with louvers. Big Job said he thought 67 Camaro had a louver option, and I'm not sure about that. I know Ford had them as a factory option on some cars. Sebastian says he's got to get himself a vintage car hauler. Kim, charged up, back to you, wins the pedal car. We're working on ads, then we're going to do trivia, then we're going to do the raffle. So Flip forward a couple of more pages up to the Winston ad. Winston Light and Winston 100s. And all these always have big masculine looking dudes out on a sailboat, out on some rough waters, showing you how manly the Winston Lights still were. Now, yeah, that's right, Big Job Mustang. It's in Capri's had them as well. But what I thought was so great about this ad is I was like kind of studying it, and I'm trying to, there again, we're going back in time. We're going back 40 years. What happened back then? And these cigarette ads, obviously tobacco ads, marketed differently than they are now. Buzzer says he wants to fire one up. So I was trying to read the fine print. I was to see how much better are the light cigarettes compared to the regular cigarettes, because I'm sure there's so much difference. Alec on Facebook, he's got a 2018 Challenger and he's got rear window louvers for it. I think they are making a comeback, and that's another good example, even on newer cars. But I was trying to see what was so great about the light cigarettes. I was trying to read this. I don't know if you guys can see it or not, but the lettering for telling you how good they are is in blue and white print against a blue and white ocean for a backdrop. You can barely even read it to see if it's even any better. So Sebastian said that's pretty imposing. Rusty Nell seen some louvers on the highway. But I thought that was funny that to put the reason they're so much safer, they put it in blue letters against a blue background where you could barely even read it. But there again, tobacco marketing. Old school cigarettes are bad, but there's worse things that people. Yeah, and that's true. There is. Let's see. Oh, next ad. This is a great ad. I love this ad. Jason says makes you want to smoke a fish. Rusty Nell's it says auto credit now, but that was autocorrect got him. Number one, that's called following the rule to the letter, Chad. We used to pull stuff like that in radio contests. Yeah. Where you put the fine print in the same color as the background, so it's hard to read. So the next ad's great. The Chevrolet El Camino, but not your standard El Camino. The super cool Royal Knight in full color. Great ad. It shows the stripe package on the Royal Knight. Shows the interior with the bucket seats, tilt column. Great ad. So definitely thought that one was well worth checking out, being in full color and being a Royal Knight. Let's flip up a couple more pages to Champion Spark Plugs. What I liked about this is whether you travel on land or air, chances are you're traveling with the world's most popular spark plug Champion. Literally showed a checker cab and an airplane in the ad so that you could see that Champion plugs were good for about anything. And let's jump up a couple of more pages to the Marlboro Man. Who remembers the Marlboro Man? Once again, big husky dude on a horse out in the snow. Once again, showing you how tough and a bad dude the Marlboro Man was. He could handle anything. He could take anything. He could do anything because he smoked Marlboros. Number one, Royal Knight was the Diablo on the GMC Sprint. I believe it was, if I remember correctly. I know a little bit more about the earlier ones because the 73 to 77, or the early like 70 to 74, they were still SSs or SP on a Sprint. So, but I do think the Diablo is what they used on the Sprints for the sportier package. Kevin, that was one of their more popular ads. Yeah, the Marlboro Man was a pretty big deal back in the day. Kim, looks like Rip from Yellowstone. Buchanan likes the Champion ad. Marlboros are so tough, your horse will plot the snow. Now, the centerfold, so to speak, right in the middle, great color, 2-page ad. Obviously, I'm a Trans Am guy, so this was a super cool ad, even though it is the turbo cars, which I was never a huge fan of. But more Pontiac excitement for the great ones. Turbo Trans Am and a turbo formula, big 2-page centerfold full color spread on there. So Old school, have I picked up all the cars you bought? No, I haven't. I got a couple last week. I might be under 30. I think I'm probably down under 30 that I need to pick up yet that I've already written checks for. That list it was over 30, but I think I've gotten it whittled down a little bit, and I've already written checks for all those. Still working on that list. Buzz Roadkill's got to go solve some excessive rain issues. He'll be back if possible. Perfect. Glad. Hope you make it back. Let's see. Rusty Neal says that poor horse. Number one, Rip versus the Bikers is my lullaby before bed. I haven't watched any of Yellowstone, so don't really know how to keep up with the Yellowstone comments. Let's see. Jeff, the Marlboro Man died, didn't he? I would imagine so, but I'm not sure. Let's see. Yes, the turbo was available on the Formula as well as the Trans Am. So Sebastian says those are some nice Pontiacs. So I thought that was a great ad and well worth sharing. Now, this next ad, this isn't a super fancy ad, and it's kind of plain. It's all black and white. Roger's on with us. It's 1:36 p.m., so I assume you're with us from down under tonight, right now. How many second-gen F-bodies do I have in the yard? No idea. I don't know. Not tons. 20 maybe. 20, 25. I don't know. I'd have to go count. I've got 50 or 60 F-bodies probably total. Second, third, and fourth gen. No first, no fifth. It's all second, third, and fourth. There's probably 50 or 60 of them total of F-bodies. Buchanan had a turbo TA when he was younger. So, number one, Marlboro Man died of lung cancer from Marlboros, and Winston Man died from lung cancer, but never smoked once. Yeah. Alex said those were good cars growing up. Yeah, that was cool. But this next ad, like I said, it's not that fancy, but it was so funny the way the ad was written. For polymer glass miracle sealant, applies in less than 1 hour. And what was great about this was the ad. You know, it shows a Rolls Royce, a fancy car. It's all print and stuff, but this is what I thought was great. Fantastic price break, only $5.98. But this is what I thought was so cool. Now available to the public. Like our formula was so secret, we weren't going to allow anybody in the public to have it. But now we're going to. So you can buy it now, but we weren't going to let you buy it earlier. But now you can buy it. So there again, just creative marketing. And it's, you know, comical to read that, but still cool even in the same sense the way they did that. So another ad we're going to check out. A few more, and then we're going to be on to trivia and the raffle. This is another full color ad. We don't talk about many foreign cars here, but this one we have talked about before, and it's such a great ad for the Renault Dakar. There was the Dakar in 1980. These things were always kind of funny to see. So it, there again, definitely kind of different. And I thought that ad was worth checking out, and I'll give you a Hudson badge too. Number one says, great, Chad. Now you can add a turbo formula to his wish list. Yeah. This next ad was also great. Who remembers in the late 70s what was on tour from Egypt that was just, you know, a huge deal? It was all over. There were comedy bits about it. It had a huge display that toured the whole U.S. And now we're seeing it in ads for a Ford van. That's right. Kim got it like that. King Tut. King Tutankhamun, his grave was discovered in the 20s. Was on tour throughout the United States in 1970. Pete was right there with King Tut as well. And, I mean, I remember it. My mom and dad went and saw that, I think, in Vegas when I was a little kid. I stayed home. I think they went to NADA. I think they saw when they went to NADA, if I remember correctly. But I didn't think I'd see it on a Ford van ad, but they did it. So here we go. Only they called it the King Tote, but they used the King Tut image. So the King Tote Ford, touting what the Ford vans were capable of doing, literally had a picture of King Tut right on the side of the van. That's right. Number one, his mommy was a mummy. Who remembers Steve Martin, a little King Tut? So that's right. Pete just threw it up there too. King Tut. I thought that was pretty funny. I was a little kid. I don't remember a lot of that stuff, but I know it was a big deal. I know mom and dad brought the book home, and I looked through the book when I was a little kid and thought it was pretty cool. But Sebastian said he saw it in Dallas, Texas, but they literally used the ad used King Tut's likeness for the Ford van ad. So, number one, was that a real Ford decal? I don't think it was. I think it was just strictly for this ad to call it King Tote, because it talked about America's best mile per gallon van, king size payload, king size economy is where they were going with that. Now, what I thought was interesting was mile per gallon, best mile per gallon ratings, 1980 full size van. That's right. Rush Nelson says they just couldn't spell. Pete, how did it get so funky? Yeah. Jason, vans are coming back. That's right. I picked up 2 full size vans this week, as a matter of fact. But best mile per gallon ratings for a full size Ford van in 1980, 18 in town, 26 on the highway. Sebastian says he'd roll in that van. Number one, now you need to add a King Tut boogie van to this turbo formula list. I don't know. Rolling in a King Tut boogie van would be actually kind of cool. So, I mean, I ain't going to lie. It'd be kind of cool. So I was like, how'd they get 26 miles a gallon out of a highway out of a full-size van? That was with a 306. So you weren't going anywhere very fast. It got good mileage, but you weren't going anywhere very fast in a full-size heavy van with a 306 cylinder. So, but I thought the ad was so great because of all of the hype around King Tut in that era, and they transformed that into a van ad. No, it was automatic overdrive. It was 306 with an optional overdrive transmission to get 26 Cement Surfer. So you're right there. That's right, Kevin. People got the party. King Ranch for the F Series, King Tut for the E Series. There you go. Hadn't thought of it that way. Buchanan, Mom traded the Pacer wagon in for a LaCar and Pratt. A couple of more ads, and then we're going to get moving forward with the trivia and the raffle. Well, we've already got Winston. We've got the Marlboro Man. And now we're going to catch Camel. Once again, big burly looking dude riding an old military looking motorcycle. Satisfaction. Camel Filters style. Once again, he's got a cute chick with him out rolling in his motorcycle and sidecar on the beach. So I don't know how well that would work out, but he smoked Camel cigarettes and it made him look cool doing it. So number one says the LaCar fit in the Pacer wagon. So Sebastian's doing engine swap with a Elephant. Yeah, that'd work on the van. Yeah. So there's the Camel ad to compete with the Winston and the Marlboro ads. Number one, those were my brand. Joe Camel was Joe Cool. I remember all the Joe Camel stuff. That was pretty cool. I do still have some old Joe Camel stuff. I never smoked, but I still got some old Joe Camel stuff back when they were heavily involved in NHRA drag racing. Big job. You didn't have to worry about your mom going too far. So, let's see. Couple more. Oh, this next thing would crack me up. And this again, dealing with the Chevy Citation, the car of the year, by the way. If you like the Citation, you'll love the tilt wheel. GM Saginaw division literally took out a half a page ad about tilt steering columns. Now, in today's world, we don't even think about anything without a tilt steering column. This was in 1980, and it was still a big enough deal that they actually had a specific ad for it. Now, obviously, it had been out for quite a while. It was available well back into the 60s, but it still wasn't standard, and they were still trying to market them to get people to order them. So, one more ad, and then we're going to do some trivia. Back to a Winston ad. Once again, Mountain Man literally chopping down trees. When your taste grows up, Winston outtastes them all. Big dude out in the forest. Big, huge logs just cut down. Got his hard hat, got his axe, not a hatchet. I'm kind of doubting he cut that tree down with that axe. But they want you to believe that. But I kind of doubt that happened. So, but there again, typical for the era. Definitely how they marketed this stuff, what they wanted people to believe. And that's how they did it back then. So that's what's so great. Even though I'm not a smoker, not a big fan of it, I just love the time period, and I love looking at these ads because, 1980, this takes me back to when I was a little kid and remember this stuff in the magazines that I was reading. So Anyway, that pretty much wraps us up for the February 1980 issue of Motor Trend with the car of the year for 1980, the Chevrolet Citation. That's right, Kenny. Only you can prevent forest fires as the guy is standing in a forest smoking cigarettes. So that's a great point, Kenny. We should have brought that up to start with, but that's a great point. As only you can prevent forest fires as the guy standing in the middle of a forest smoking cigarettes. So, number one, he chopped that tree down with that axe before sun, finished climbing over the mountains, and had time for a smoke. Yeah, I believe it. Yep. So, yep, there it is. Time for a little trivia. Then we're going to give away this pedal car. We're going to give away another matchbook on trivia because I still think these are cool. Even though these aren't super fancy high-dollar collectibles, I love them. This is a Gillette tire matchbook. We looked at this on Toy Tuesday. Has the bear on it from Ryan's Tire. Has Vortex oil on the back. Pure Pennsylvania oil at 15 cents a quart. Sebastian, 6 pages of cigarette ads out of 30. Yeah. Inside of this, it has, $5 in daily cash prices. Write your license plate number in this space. Deposit in the box at our station. 1 ticket drawn daily. At Ryan's, 1922 Gravois, but it doesn't say exactly where. New guaranteed tires as low as 15 cents a week, saving you dollars on up. That's all inside of it. Sebastian says, nice matchbook. Yeah, it's pretty cool. We're going to get the stop. We're going to get the timer set. We're going to give you 90 seconds on this as usual. The question tonight for the Gillette Tires matchbook, all color with the bear on it from Ryan's service, wherever that was at, was we're going to go with a matchbook question for the matchbook. When we did Toy Tuesday, we looked at some cool World War II memorabilia. We looked at several matchbooks from air bases around the country. Some of them which actually were right near where some of you guys are at, as well as some from right near where I'm at. But one of them was dated. What was the date, month, day, and year in that matchbook? The timer's on for 90 seconds. Number one, all the smoke ads were in color. Not all the car ads were. The steering wheel was black and white. That's true. That was completely true. Scott, was the cover car a Toyota? Yes, it was. It was a Toyota on the cover of that one. Got some guesses coming in. We've got the year, but I don't have anything else. And let's see, where are we at? Okay, there we go. Old school got it. It just took a couple of January of 44. That's when it was. So there was a couple of Jason says he missed the beginning. Old school had it. It just took a couple of things. Number one was close, but it was January of 44 was the date on that one. So we've got old school there. That was the Walker Air Base matchbook, which is about 50 miles from where I'm at, actually. Part of the 4 air bases for B-29s that were literally right around me. We were, there you go, Cement Surfer. I've actually got a trophy from the Walker Air Base from when they had drag races out there in the 60s. So that's kind of why I went with that. It was a local piece to me. But that's when it was. January of 44 was when that was dated. That's right. Now the Walker Army Airfield. I love that stuff. I'm glad you guys dig it, and it's more cool stuff to check out. Sebastian, that was a cool matchbook. Yeah, it was. So Victoria, Kansas. That's correct. Number one. So super cool piece, and I really like that stuff. Like we've talked about, the aviation stuff from World War II, the technology, how it came about, how that transferred into the car world after that as those guys came home, and they put a lot of their efforts into hot rods and racing and things like that, and the technology and the development that came from that was pretty cool. So that's why I dig it, and that's why I'm glad that you guys dig it and that we're allowed to share that stuff as well. So who's ready to win a pedal car? I've got it right here. Take one more look at it. There's the rear. It's got the V shape on it. This is a little rust hole in it. It's got the gear, the mechanism in it. The steering wheel does come off. I will take that off to ship it. It'll be packed inside with it. Take a look at the bottom side of it. And we'll take one last look at the nose. Rogers is in Australia hanging out with us in Australia. So Kevin's got to jump off. Glad you made it. Now, who is in on the pedal car? We did get to 10, so we are going to pull 3 names tonight. Sebastian is in. My dad is in. Kenny Peterson is in. William Chiranza is in. Big Job Ron is in. Mary is in. Lee Carr is in. Let's see you drive it. I don't think I'd fit in it, so I don't want to tear it up for somebody else. Peter Winters, John Bennett, and Mike Shook. If you thought you were in and I did not read your name, let me know and we'll try to figure out what happened. But that's what I've got. Some of those were in the mail. Some of those were PayPal. There was a combination of both. All of those names are right now in the big Buick oil can. They're all right down there. Everybody that read it, that I read off, as many times as you bought in 5 times, 10 times, 20 times, that's how many times you're down in that mess of names. Shopcat's got family in town, snuck away long enough to hang out. Bill says, hit the like button. And just like we talked about before, there will be $45 flat rate shipping on the pedal car for whoever wins. Or if you're close, you can pick it up, or I can take it to the swap meet. You know, whatever works for anybody, just let me know. And there's a few of them, a few of you guys that got in, and in your notes you said if you win, then you don't want the don't want the pedal car, you want second prize, which you will have that option. Second prize is going to be the Wanda grease can. Like we've talked about, it's got some scratches and stuff, but still got pretty good color. The 1 pound Wanda grease can, as well as the Newell stock 2.5 ton weight rating plate. Now, third prize, we're going to pull another one since we got to 10. We're going to do another one of the Newell stock weight rating plates. Only the black one with white letters this time is 2.5 for the third name. So we're going to draw a name for the pedal car. If you are on, you let me know if you want the pedal car or not as soon as you can. I'll go through the notes that I've got here and see if anybody, if they said in there what they wanted to do. So that's what I'm going to do on that. As we go through it, we'll give you another one of these here as we get ready. So let's get ready to go here. Let's shake up the names in the big Buick oil can. And here we go. Bill says, love the show, but it's got to go. That's all right. Okay, I've got one. What do I have? I got one right here. I got one name right here. Mike Shook. So, if you're on, Mike, I assume you probably want the pedal car, but so we'll put your name on that one, and we'll get ready to draw again. And we're going to go for the Wanda can. Now, Mike is out. Yeah, he wants the car, that's for sure. Mike is out for the rest of these. So if we pull Mike's name, we're just going to keep pulling until we pull somebody else's name. So the Wanda grease can and the 2.5 ton weight rating tag. And this one is actually Dad won that one. So that'll go on Dad's shelf. And he does buy his tickets just like everybody else does. So he didn't get into these first several raffles because he didn't want it to be a problem, but he does pay and buy his tickets just like everybody else. So that's it's all fair and it's all legitimate, just like anything else. So that's going to him. Now, since we did have 10, and actually Mike Shook got in this afternoon. He's the one that put us to 10. We're going to give this one away too to somebody. And like I said, anytime we get to 10, we're going to pull 3. So Mike Shook is out and my dad is out. And we're going to grab somebody else's name. There we go. Get a whole handful of these. Get them shaking, shook up. Let's see what we got here. And Mary is the winner of the little plate. So we're going to send that one to Mary on there. So that's the raffle for this month. Congratulations to everybody. It was a lot of fun. Thanks for playing, everybody. And I'm glad you guys are enjoying it. It's fun. You know, like I said, and it's one of those deals. I'm definitely not getting rich on it, but it's covering the expense of doing it. So that's what's important. We can keep giving away cool stuff, keep adding stuff to your collection. So thanks for playing, everybody. I appreciate everybody being a great sport and playing along and having fun with it. And we'll empty the Buick can out for next time. Now, the next raffle is, and Ultra says, I wish PayPal would work, and I don't know what the deal is with PayPal, but of course they've changed so many of their rules here over the last year that I'm not sure about a lot of the things that's going on with PayPal right now. But I don't have another raffle for tonight because I am not going to be on next Sunday. So what I'm going to do is the next raffle we will announce when I'm on next time in 2 weeks. Russ Nelson, just leave them in there. That wouldn't be fair to everybody. So, let's see. We'll be on again the 20th. So we'll announce the next raffle on the 20th, and that will be for March and April, since at that point we're almost going to be to the end of April. So the next raffle will be end of March and then the month of April, and we will kick that off on the 20th in 2 weeks when I'm back on. That's right. Big Job says no church service next week. So, but I appreciate everybody playing. It's great. You know, and like I said, if you guys get 10 in, we'll pull 3 names. And I'm glad that we got to 10 again this time, because that means more people get stuff. So, nope, I empty the can, Kenny. I empty the can every time because that's the only way to keep it fair. Sebastian, the raffle's a simple math problem. Rashawn, do I have a 71 to 75 Chevy or Impala available? Caprice or Impala? I've got some 71 to 75 Chevys. I don't know if you need parts or if you're looking for a whole car. I do have some early to mid 70s full-size Chevrolets, though. Hudson Badge. But anyway, a few more things to catch up on tonight, and then we'll be ready to sign off. New inventory. I picked up a couple of full-size vans. We gave you a glimpse of those a few weeks back when I bought them. We'll get you a full video on those vans here maybe this week. 74 Ford van, which actually has a little bit of an interesting story to it. Kenny says he got his shirts. Great. That's awesome. If anybody else wants shirts, I've got gray and black available. The information to order them is on the text part of this video, or I will have them at the swap meet, and they're going to be cheaper at the swap meet because I won't have to ship them. So I will have some with me at the swap meet as well if any of you guys are there and want to pick up a shirt, or I can sure ship them to you just like I did to Kenny last week. So, yeah, Sebastian says, yeah, if you want to put enough entries in, you win every time. So, yeah, Jay says no service next week. Rashawn, entire project car. I've got 173 that could probably be built. If you want to give me a shout, we can go over the details on that. So, but I do have these available, and on the front it just says nobody, so makes it even a little more comical. Buchanan says there are nice shirts. He got his. Glad they made it to you, so you've got some as well. And anybody else wants some, that information's on there. You can PayPal me, you can send me a check or money order, or if you're going to be at the swap meet next week, you can pick them up there, save a few bucks on shipping and stuff. So, but anyway, stay tuned. Like I said, that 74 Ford van, that's the old style Econo line they made from like 69 to 74. Has a little bit of an interesting story to it. You'll be curious to hear the history of behind that van. And that plus the 86 Dodge full-size van, there again, that stuff is not easy to find anymore. So I've got some room. I need to get that stuff drug in, and I'm going to keep it around because worst case scenario, it's good storage. But those parts are going to be so tough to find because vans were bigger, they were heavier, they were easy to fill with iron, and then they got flattened. So that's what that's why I was glad to get them. So we'll get some content on that. What's coming up this week on video-wise? See. Big Job says, great show, even though I had a million entries in the can. Couple things. I'm still thinking about these videos, changes to the videos like we talked about last week. I need to bring you a video on the vans, and I'm going to bring you some getting ready for the swap meet videos. I got a bunch of totes lined out. We're digging through some parts. I'm going to give you a sneak peek on the swap meet stuff before Wichita. I'm still definitely thinking very hard and leaning definitely towards doing some of the informational videos like we talked about. I need to get a list put together. But like we touched on last week, differences in specific vehicles that I've dealt with. There's millions of them. There's no way we can cover them all. But there's things that I run into that we see that I deal with that you guys may not be aware of. Plus, I was thinking back through some of these early notes from when I first started this deal. And if you'll remember back, when I very, very, very first started doing Sunday Night Chat, my purpose of the entire thing was to share information with you guys as far as what I dealt with to try to help educate everybody. I don't know. I thought that was on this notepad, but I don't see it. But it was information about what I dealt with to help you guys have a better idea what to do when you're looking for parts. So we can do some of those videos where I break them down, what to look for on eBay, using eBay, just like I mentioned earlier. I'm marking parts down that I'm taking to the swap meet because of eBay fees and shipping and packaging and things like that. When you do that, when you put stuff on eBay, you've got to factor all that in. Shopcat's got to run. He's up to 246 subs. Be sure to check him out, see what he's got going on. So I can work in some information videos like that about how to help find parts for your cars, as well as the differences between specific vehicles that you may have thought were very similar, things like that. So definitely thinking about doing some of that. Sebastian, what's eBay? Once again, Nobody Else's Auto, lowercase, all run together, no spaces, no dashes, just Nobody Else's Auto. So, information like that, plus the vehicle information, I'm really leaning towards doing some of that. We had great feedback from it last week. Throwing it out there again, once again, checking for opinions, curious about what people think, if that would be of interest to you guys. But there's a lot of different directions to go with those informational videos. So want to start doing some of those. Definitely want to keep the new inventory videos up because that's, if nothing else, it's a good way for everybody to keep up with what's coming in. But I do want to start working on some of the informational videos as well. And like I said, we'll be bringing you a swap meet preview this week. Don't know if it'll be Monday night or Wednesday night or maybe both nights. We'll see how things go. I'll probably be working on it some tomorrow. I'll see how it kind of lays out, and I may do both nights. May do a short 2, 3, 4 minute preview on the swap meet both nights. If there is something you need me to bring to the swap meet that's easy, I'm not going to pull an engine or anything like that, or a cylinder head, or something that takes a ton of work. But if there's a taillight or something quick that you need, since I'm running out of time, let me know, and I might be able to bring some of that stuff with me as well. So we will have a mix there. I am going to take some parts. We'll have some oil cans. We'll have some toys. We'll have kind of a mixture of automotive related stuff that, for everybody there at the Wichita swap meet. So definitely hope to see some of you there. Let's see, Streamlabs Streambot. I have to check into that, number one. Big job. Are you going to do a directory for members? Possibly. That'd be a lot of work. We'd have to see. Steel Ponies, do you still have the 91 Ford dealer buyer's guide? That I don't know. I'd have to double check and see. I might still have that one. I think I sold all the 93 stuff. I might still have the 95, the 91. If you want to give me a shout on that, Jeff, I'll get it on my notepad and I'll double check and see. So there again, like I said, those are some thoughts that are running through my head. My buddy Mike Gallons has still been tweaking some videos and making some changes, kind of playing with things, seeing what happens. But that's what we're going to have coming up this week. We got to get the vans done and definitely want to do some swap meet previews. Looking forward to it. It's going to be good to be back after, 2 years of being chopped in half time-wise, and then last year being canceled altogether. Looking forward to seeing friends, seeing familiar faces, getting to say hi to some people, and hope to see some of you there. That's pretty much what I've got for the evening. We'll start getting ready to wind down, which always seems to take a while, which is great because we've got a good chat going, and that's why it seems to take a while to wind down, because we still have guys on here. We're still hanging out. We almost get into a little bit of an open chat at the end of the session because we get a lot of comments. So had a great night tonight. Mary's got to go. We're glad you were here. We're going to be getting that played out to you. Really curious to see what happens to the pedal car now that it's on its way to auto artistry. So I got a weird feeling that Mike's got some cool plans for that. One thing about Mike winning the pedal car, we'll be able to keep you guys updated with what he does to it, because I've got a feeling he's got some pretty cool ideas. So let's see, Big Job, if you want to be in it, make it available for a fee and your time. Yeah, that might be a possibility as well. And let's see, everybody saying good night. Appreciate y'all being here. We'll throw that up a little bit more. And like I said, keep an eye on everything. Facebook's been a little wonky on me tonight. To me, it shows me it's losing the feed, but it looks like we're still there. So, and some of you guys are still hanging out on there. Glad you guys made it. I hope everybody enjoyed the auctions tonight. Congratulations to all of our winners, Joe, Nate, and Sebastian, as well as Buzz and Roadkill on the mobile can. 49 Plymouth Suburban hood ornament available, X-ray. I don't remember what I've got for 49 Plymouth hood ornaments. You have to give me a call when you get them. Give me a call tomorrow. I'll get you on my notepad and check it. Mike says it's going to be a good project for his grandson. So, which is cool because maybe Mike's going to teach his grandson the tricks of the trade. Like I said, be sure to check out Auto Artistry. Yeah, Ken says they're still on Facebook. Good, because I'm losing my entire screen on Facebook. I get the comments, but the screen that shows me what's going on off my camera, I'm completely losing. So that kind of makes me nervous. But definitely excited to see what Mike's going to do with the pedal car, just because I know what those guys are capable of cranking out. Steel Ponies, Jeff, thanks, great show. Norma says good night. Appreciate everybody being here. With that, we're going to go ahead and start winding down. Yogi Beer, my new favorite channel. Well, I'm glad you're here. I'm glad we're your new favorite channel. I hope you subbed. We got a lot of cool stuff coming up. Big Job would be willing to buy and sell cars and parts located through our base here. That's a possibility as well. And we may, yeah, because we'll bring you some footage from the swap meet as well. On Friday, we'll probably do some lives there. That's right, Joe. Keep my eye peeled for that 283 All Bath air cleaner. Brian says, good show. Comments are fun. We'll bring you some footage from the swap meet too. How about that? And maybe if some of you guys are there, I don't know if Classic Ride Society was on with us tonight. I know he was talking about coming. Dealer promos, we've ever done a show with them. We've done some on Toy Tuesday, Jeff. I bought a couple boxes of them 6-8 months ago that took 3 or 4 Toy Tuesdays to get through. I bought so many of them. But yeah, we do them on Toy Tuesdays typically. Bill says everybody be safe and try to get your gas cheap. Yeah, that's no kidding. So we'll probably do some lives from the swap meet. How's that sound? And we may not even do a regular episode Friday night. It depends on what we feed from the swap meet. We'll see how it goes. But we're going to be there. Hopefully some of you are going to be there, and we may just do some cool stuff from the swap meet. Sebastian, does anybody have car branded pocket watches? I would imagine somebody made them. I know back in the day they had, I don't know if you got them with a car, but I know that you could get, there were some really early ones that were car branded. Rusty Nails, have any Little Red Express stuff? Don't have any Little Red Express stuff at all right now. Big Job says, great show. Here to the last comment, and definitely on the swap meet show. So we'll be bringing you some footage then, and we may not even worry about doing a regular episode Friday night, because we'll be bringing some footage from the swap meet. If we don't get any good live from the swap meet, we may just shoot some clips. I do know last time we were there, we did have a little bit of feed issue on some of the lives due to signal. If we run into signal issues, we will shoot some clips at the swap meet, hopefully with some of you, possibly with some other YouTubers that might be there, and do some stuff there for a Friday night episode if we can't do any lives. X-Ray says, Dean says $6 premium now in California. So, wow, that's bonkers. Jeff says, great show. Thanks for doing it. Well, and like I tell you guys every week, this isn't me. This is the fact that you guys are still here after 2 hours hanging out and making this thing what it is. You know, that's the important part. That's what makes it. You know, we've been on here for over 2 hours. There's still 40 people hanging out here with us between the two formats. So that's what's amazing. You guys are what make this. Me sitting here talking into my computer and staring at these little webcams is not what makes this. All these comments on both of these formats, all you guys popping up, everybody that jumps in and puts their name in here, everybody that participates in the auction, that's what makes this what it is. That's what makes Sunday night. It's great. It's not this monkey sitting in front of a camera. I can tell you that. I'm pretty sure that ain't it. But that's what's great. I don't have any Impala convertibles in that area, Rashawn, in those 70s. So Mike says he'll be down sometime to pick it up and get a t-shirt. So anyway, that's what makes it great. Big Job says he still wants a nobody's plaque. Yeah, we'll have to check on some of those. We've talked about that before, getting the plug club plaques made. Yogi Beers, it's every Sunday. It's every Sunday except for next Sunday. But yeah, typically we do this every Sunday night. We have done this 103 times, as a matter of fact, on Sunday night. Yogi Beer, you are on here for the 103rd times. 103rd time. Ken, you get a D50 Dodge trucks. I do not have any of the little D50s at all right now. But I have had some guys starting to ask about them. If I could find some, I'd grab them. Sebastian, any monkey who likes cars is my friend. Good night. Well, that's cool. So, but next week, like I said, I've got some stuff going on next week that is probably going to run until about 7 or 7:30 on Sunday night. And so I'm just going to tell you where I'm not even going to plan on it, because I know I'm pretty sure I'm going to be busy right up until then. I'm not going to tell you where I'm going yet. I want to experience it first, and then we'll talk about it the next Sunday. It's not car stuff. I'm kind of looking forward to it and kind of not looking forward to it. It's one of those type things. It's an interesting situation. It's a display thing that I'm going to go check out, and we'll talk about it the following Sunday. It's going to be interesting. I know that. Big Job, who'd be in for nobody's plaque? Jason said he would be. So next Sunday, I said we're going to skip. We'll talk about it in 2 weeks. Eloy says last call for Jack and Coke. And we'll see we'll see how next Sunday goes. I'm real curious. But Dispatch says, Brian says he's in for one. So I'll have to do some checking and see what it costs to get some of those aluminum club plaques made here one of these days. So next Sunday, and like I said, Toy Tuesday, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm just going to plan on no Toy Tuesday and no Sunday night chat this week. We'll do some lives, hopefully from the swap meet, to make up for some of that. And probably everything from Friday will be swap meet. We'll do some swap meet prep stuff, probably Monday and Wednesday, and see how things go there. So as always, anybody needs anything for the swap meet, give me a call. And if it's something small that I can get off, I can sure bring. Mike says he hopes to make it down to Wichita on Friday, so it'd be great to meet you there. And like I said, definitely be sure to stop by, say hi, and I'll have my stuff set up. I'll need to take the Nobody Show banner with me as well. I've got a Nobody Show banner. I'll try to have just a small one that says Nobody Show, so you can watch for that. But I'm right next to the concession stand at that pinch point between Expo and Convention Hall. So be sure to watch for me there if you're going to be at the swap meet. And we'll check out what's going on and hopefully get a chance to chat for a second. So Jason says he's going to go into withdrawal. Big Job says put the artwork in a CNC and a boom. Yeah, I don't have a CNC machine to do that with. So, but anyway, I think that pretty much about gets us. We'll keep an eye out here for the last few seconds on comments. Bazooka number one says he wants Bazooka bubblegum signage or lit motion beer signage. Yeah, some of that stuff was pretty cool back in the day as well. And hope to see some of you there. We're going to go ahead. We should be about done here. Keep an eye on comments for just a little bit longer because there's always a handful of them that pop up as soon as I click into stream. So we'll keep an eye on this stuff for the time being. And I'll see you guys in a couple. Well, I'll see you live from the swap meet, hopefully. But for Sunday night, it'll be 2 weeks, the 20th, before we are back here hanging out. And Yogi Beer, are there neon signs there? You never know what's going to show up. It's a swap meet. So not very often are there original neons there. I've seen them like once or twice, but not very often I see originals there. Number one, Hudson to Margaret and everybody else. That's right. We didn't talk about Margaret tonight from the Great Bend Army Air Corps base badge we looked at on Tuesday night. Big Job says he's going to check with a buddy about doing them. Okay, that sounds good. And Jason says later. X-Ray says thanks. One more time for the Hudson badge. We're going to get ready to wrap this thing up. I'm going to get to work. We will see you live, hopefully, from the swap meet on Friday if we get good signal. See some good nights popping up on Facebook as well. Scott says regular gas still below $3.50 in South Texas, so at least they're still not as bad off as some of us are. Appreciate everybody being here, making this thing what it is. And I'm going to try to get a few more things done yet tonight. Got to get some work done. Got to get packed up for the swap meet. And plus, like I said, I got a bunch of stuff going on Tuesday that's probably going to take me into Tuesday evening. And yeah, don't forget to say goodnight to Wanda. There she is right there. Goodnight to Wanda. And we'll see hopefully some of you guys swap meet and see you back here in 2 weeks for Sunday night live chat, 7 o'clock Central Standard Time. Hope to see you all here. Thanks for watching, everybody. Thanks for making this what it is. Appreciate the support. Appreciate the involvement and all of you guys making this thing what it is. Thanks for watching, everybody. And we will see you hopefully at the swap meet on Friday.